What's the most underrated thing about being in a relationship? Being your number one person's number one person. Having meals together. That's probably one of the worst things for me about being single. I love to cook, but hate just eating it myself. Always having someone to do mundane tasks with. It's like having your best friend with you when you have to do boring chores from laundry mats to doctor's appointments. Except they're happy to be there with you. A tender hug for no particular reason, other than you both naturally want to. Someone to take a look at that rare lump or shave a weird area. Having someone to watch your luggage when you have to pee at the airport. Never having to be uncomfortable in public, either physically or mentally. Even the middle seat on an airplane is less miserable when you can put your head on the shoulder of the person next to you and laugh about an inside joke. Being truly vulnerable. My wife and I lost our 7-month-old son to cancer in October of 2016. Earth-shattering diagnosis and outcome. But being vulnerable and accepting that when she says I love you it encompasses so much more than 3 words. Vulnerability. Loss. Life. Passion and joy flood through me when we're together. Nothing else matters. Honestly. Being really super excited about finding something you know she'll love. My Reddit saved posts is 90% dogs because of her. Not feeling weird when there's nothing to talk about. It's just like, okay, there's nothing to say. Not like when you're dating someone new and you're trying to think of anything to break an uncomfortable silence. Coming home to the same person every night. I love that feeling. Always having someone willing to scratch your back. You're lucky. Getting a back scratch is harder than getting a BJ. Update. Told my wife about this joke and the upvotes confirming she's not the only stingy scratcher. Mistake. I believe I am now indefinitely going to be both scratch-less and BJ-less. That's not funny. You think they're hard to get now. Just wait. Being able to be yourself. You can take off your public mask and just be the real you around them. Just sitting by them and not really doing anything. Just cool being with someone. Update. Just being able to have someone to text or maintain constant contact with. The hardest part of every relationship ending for me is not having a text every time I'll look at my phone or not being able to look forward to telling MGF something that happened during the day. Edit. Lots of sad homies. Watching that person just exist. You're so smile. When I was still dating my now ex-girlfriend, some of our time together was spent watching gods and eating popcorn. She once mentioned some sort of seasoning powder you could buy for popcorn. Can't remember what it was now. During my next trip to the store, I managed to find some. When she came over later, I asked if it was the right kind. She broke out in this special smile that I knew was just for me. Just being completely ridiculous with someone. Last night I hid from my partner under the dinner duvet, or whatever you want to call it, and she couldn't find me for a few seconds. It was completely stupid. But we both had a great laugh. When you go to a restaurant and there are 2 things on the menu you want, you can get your soda, order one of them and share. Forehead kisses. The mental security of knowing that someone finds you attractive and likes your personality. Sleeping together. I don't mean sex, although that's obviously great. I mean literally just sleeping together. Being able to drift off to sleep feeling safe and comforted because that person is there next to you. Having someone there if you have a bad dream in the middle of the night. Waking up briefly and just feeling their presence and knowing that everything is okay and going back to sleep. I hate when my husband travels and I have to sleep alone, and when I wake up at night half the bed is cold, although I love when he gets up a little earlier than I do and I can roll over and snuggle into the little dent he left in the mattress, which is all cozy and warm and smells like him. Funny movies are funnier with someone else laughing. You're in a team with another cool person. It's always great to be part of something bigger. Being the big spoon and getting to nuzzle your face and the back of their neck with all their hair that smells amazing no matter what. Knowing that no matter how tired your day was, how many people led you off, that there is someone at home that has your back. And even though they have your back, they'll still tell you when you're being a putz and you caused most of that trouble and offer solutions to correct. Extra shrimp when your spouse gets full. I shouldn't have come here. Watching a show or movie and being able to discuss the best worst scenes, plot holes with each other and the things you liked or disliked about it. Also knowing each other's tastes. Being able to surprise each other with favorite snacks things and asking your so to pick up food and just say you know what I like. Being able to share your world with another person. Your experiences. Your friends. Your family. And to have that person want to be a part of your world. It's awesome. The effortless physical contact. They may be holding a conversation with someone and then reach out to you and put their hand on your back. I'm terrible at describing it, but it feels like it cements the togetherness you guys have. Their embrace after coming home from work. Having a second person to deal with any household surprises. Like last night when we had a little bat in the house. We think it fell down the chimney and my partner was terrified he'd get rabies, which we don't have in Australia. We do have a similar thing called Australian Bacillus, but only 3 cases in humans have occurred and all up north, whereas we live down south. Also he's scared of moths, and as we discovered, bats fire like big slow moths lol. He called out to me and I was just like, what? That's amazing. And came to the rescue. Just feeling the other person touching you. I'll slouch in my chair while reading. And put my feet on his chair. He rests his hand on my foot while he's browsing the internet. It's so comforting. Having an outlet for my weirdness. My so and I occasionally like to have pretend conversations using only turkey noises. I find that kind of hilarious. But when I was single I had no one to do it with. So it just kinda stayed bottled up. And I felt like a more boring person as a result. Whoa. This makes me feel lonely. I know, dude. I didn't realize how effective this would be at making me feel alone. Not having to deal with the world of trying to meet people and dating anymore. Just sitting in the same room. Together or doing your own thing. Not having to sit next to a stranger on the train. Going halfsies on everything. I love this. But not in terms of spending. We've had joint checking for years. I just love having someone to split things with. I get so motivated to cook good food if I can have it ready when my wife gets home from work. When we're watching TV, I like to disappear and come back with a surprise double portion of ice cream in a bowl. Or some other sweet treat we can split. In general, I do so many more good things for myself if I know I'm doing it for her. 2. Just knowing they chose you out of 8 billion people to be with. Statistically speaking, there are so many other people out there who could be more compatible and or make you so happier than you. Lesson to learn. Don't take them anywhere or meet anyone new. Second lesson to learn. Don't listen to me, I'm lonely old man at heart. I don't know if it's underrated exactly, but for me it's the random couch fondling. From rubs on the neck and shoulders to playing with breasts to light, non-aggressive ticking and stroking of genitals. Sometimes it's just her. Sometimes it's me giving the soft touches. Sometimes it's mutual. Not even so much a sex thing. More a relaxation thing. When we settle in for some TV time in the evenings. Hands and fingers roam and give needed stress relief and relaxation. This is a common thing. Right? That comfortable silence. Having someone to shave neck back hair I can't reach. I envy you more than anyone else in this thread. Being held at night. I've been single for about 2 years now and I really miss the cuddling. The intimacy you have. But not the sexual intimacy. Just snuggling up to someone. Having long, great hugs. That kinda stuff. Having someone to help clasp necklaces and help with the top part of zippers. I'm not very flexible and sometimes I've had to change an outfit entirely because I couldn't get the zip or the top button completely done. You have somebody to try to look good for. If you're just dressing for yourself, it's going to be for comfort. If it's for somebody else, it's going to be for trying to make them feel desired, like you think they're worth the effort. The bonus is that if you're dressed nicer, you feel better about yourself. Missing them when you've been apart for a couple of days. I love the feeling of reuniting and falling asleep together that night. My wife and I regularly take showers together so we can scrub each other backs. Doing it with one of those long-handled loofahs is alright, but someone actually scrubbing your back is amazing. Girl plus girl equals always clothes. Everywhere. Always. The fact that you don't have to keep looking for a date. Someone to share your stupid with. Be that hobbies, sense of humor, interests or personality. Sure, some days he thinks I'm a bit of a freak, but I'm his little freak who loves him and is open about this stuff. My bloke is super smart and is like a sponge to some facts I don't know how he remembers. I love to hear him explain into high detail about stuff I wanted a simple yes or no answer about. He may have lost me in 5 minutes into it, but I love hearing him geek out about something. Having someone, other than myself, who cleans every once in a while. Coming home after a stressful day to see our apartment spotless and clean is an incredibly nice feeling. Spooning. I love spooning so damn much. My wife really loves being spooned too. So it works out. Only downside is she's an oven and I sweat easily. So she'll wake up to a damp back and a wet arm wrapped around her. Recently had the so move in with me. Knowing there's always someone who cares what you have to say, no matter how dull or stupid anyone else would find it. Going through this thread without crying from loneliness. Not having to hold farts in anymore. I still hold farts 50% of the time. Hugs. Always having someone to talk to. Even for the most inconsequential things. My wife left 4 years ago. I'll often catch myself thinking, I can't wait to tell her about this. When something funny happens. Then a split second later I'll remember that she's gone and the house will be empty when I get home and it will stay empty all night. Same thing when something upsetting happens, my first instinct is to want to go home and be consoled. Then a split second later I'll remember that it's not going to happen. Rough day at work, so at least I can go home and talk to her about so yeah. It'll be a quiet night by myself. See an ad for a new X-Files episode? Oh. Great. She'll be excited to hear about the so yeah. She's gone. It's not like I'm sitting there waiting for her to come back, so you know that that's not going to happen. It's just painful that my first involuntary reaction is such that it ultimately leads to more pain. I hope it's not like that forever. Capital X. Don't ever compare your relationships with others. If you are comfortable and happy, then you are fine. Having that safe place to go to. I remember once coming home alone from a party. It was dark, late, scary, and I called my boyfriend. When I heard his voice I cried. 'Cause I was so happy to hear him. Sounds crazy, but it just gave me the greatest comfort there can be. Having someone to eat junk food with. Scrolling through Instagram feeling lonely. Tries to go to Reddit instead. This is the first thread. Having someone that's always there to talk to text during the day. I tell my so about every little thing that happened during my day. Which is something I can't do with anyone else. Well, I'm depressed now. Being bored together. Don't understand most of the comments. They all seem things that are very much appreciated about being in a relationship, at least in my book. Well, compared to the SX, all of these are probably super underrated, so I'll accept them. As a single woman, this thread is depressing me. Personal grooming. My wife and I call it monkey grooming. Ingrown hairs. Hard to reach pimples. clogged pores, etc. She gets M for me. I get M for her. Colon. Having someone clap when you fart. Or is that just us? Someone who legitimately loves you, cares about you, supports you and will also help to improve you as a person. Even if that last thing means that you and or your partner need to step out of the comfort zone. I just find coming home to someone who adores me and puts me on a pedestal the best feeling in the world.